Okay, good afternoon, folks. I'm a little bit late. I was just in a trade here. I like the fact we had a bunch of bounces there. We'd really struggled to get below there, and there was going to be some liquidity up there. So I just took, I get 4 points, I think. Have a look. 3 3/4. 3 3/4 points. So happy days. I only did it on one account, one of my lowest ones. Just in case, but I thought there was a good chance that that was going to clear out some liquidity there. We had a lot of support there, really struggled to get below there. So how you doing, Speedy? So let's have a look. Let me just sort out that. So let me put that at 89. 89. Just setting up flow bots for the other accounts. Just check everything's working.
Order submitted.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Have that one. Yes, excellent. Okay.
Order
so,
canceled.
Akitri, how you doing, bud? Hey, Karina, how are you? So, 3 3/4 points there. So I really like that, actually. We had a bunch of bounces there. We had a channel up. It kind of looked like a spike and channel for a minute when it sort of sat there, and it fitted quite nice along there. There's going to be liquidity there. I know it was a bit risky, but I did it on one account. But I kind of liked it. We had a little double bottom, and we couldn't seem to close below that line multiple times. And we pushed up there, cleaned out the liquidity there, and then managed to push through fine. So I'm guessing this may be coming down. We'll see. I'm just going to leave a short just at the moment, just in case we do have something larger moving on there. I don't think so. It's a bit shallow for me. That's kind of where I had it. So let's have a look. Yeah, I wasn't the only one who took that. Someone else took that as well. That one there, it's kind of a leg and a leg. Second entry long. Is my guess it was going to clear out that liquidity there. We had a break. And usually when we go sideways after a break, a new high, often we do clear that liquidity out. Something I've noticed, one and done. You took that second entry long. Yeah, I only did, to be fair, I only did it on one account, actually. I knew there was a little bit of risk because you could have argued 1, 2, 3. We had a triple test here, but it wasn't that obvious. And usually what we do when we have a leg up and we go sideways, we often have the same. So we have a leg sideways leg. It's kind of like a mirror image. It goes in that way and comes out that way. So I thought we'd at least clear that up there. So I got out well before then anyway. So 3 3/4 points. It was only on one account, but I deemed it was worth the risk. So let me just second entry long, and it was 3 3/4 points plus 3.75 points. Excellent. So we're still holding here for some reason. I wouldn't consider that a lower high. It's gone too far, really. That's more like a first entry. So if you do that there, maybe a channel first entry. Second entry short looking right here. I may take. Now we're below this line. Let's have a look. Needs to break above there, really. It hasn't done. Come on, push up. Push, 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 push. I'm just going to get an order ready just in case. Still got to be a bit careful here. Let me think. So if you've got a break, first entry, I don't want to get trapped because there is a slight possibility that this could go up. I don't think it will. It's more sideways. I think it's more likely going to come down, but I just want to give it a little bit of space. I'd like to see that trigger. Yes, if you got into that one there, trigger just stopped you out. Second entry short. If this comes down nice and bearish now, I'll have a go at that. So channel down, 2 pushes up. So if this comes bearish, I'll deem it's not strong enough to push up and it's more likely to come down. Straight lines tattoo. Hey, bud, how you doing? I have posted chart at Thomas Wade's chat forum at 2021 today. Can you take a look? Bobby, it's a trade I took yesterday. Someone posted 221. Was it 221 yesterday, was it? Or 221 today? You posted it. Let me have a look. Oh, I got you. Let's have a look. That higher low. Would I have taken that? That's a good question, actually. Was that you, was it? Second entry short. Can't see a short on here. Let me have a look. What are you on about? The higher low I can see. Am I missing something? Was that the one, or was it earlier? That one there. Oh, that one there. Would I taken that one? Yeah, no, definitely not. For the simple reason, one, it's going sideways. There is a slight element going up, but it's going sideways. So at the moment, we're coming down, and we're coming down. We seem to be looping down, so I wouldn't trade there at all. Not because I know what's going on, because I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether we're going to come up. I mean, if we've come down and we've come back up and bounced again, there's a good possibility we're working down. But if we are working down, I wouldn't take it that low to the bottom. And if I'm ever going to take something like that, I want that red body tucked tightly under that line. It's just a personal thing, but no, I wouldn't take that there. I can't remember what the chart was doing before that, but no, one, it's sideways. And yeah, although it's touched that AMA, the body's just, it moves so far down, that move's done anyway, so no, I wouldn't. I'll tell you what you'll find, bud. As you take trade, now, what I'll say something to you now, do not stress about losing trades. It is by far the best way to learn. I'm not saying that to make you feel better. I'm saying that because it's true. Because once you've taken... You took that trade. Once you've taken a bunch of trades like that, you'll avoid them like the plague, because you'll think, oh, it's a little bit hit and miss, isn't it? He said, don't draw trend channels like that. I don't think that's a bad thing. Now, usually we say it needs to touch an area 3 times, so it would need to touch there, confirm it, and come down really before it's a bigger channel. So all that is really is 2 legs down. Now, the only time I'd short that is if it comes back here, we have a leg up with the break and a new high, it confirms that line and gives us something like a lower high or a failure. But just stay out of that. But honestly, mate, the best thing to do is just to take what you think, and you'll avoid them. So because you lost money or lost an evaluation or whatever, you were glued to that there, so you had something invested in that, and you will remember that picture. That picture will log in your brain, and then after a few times, you'll get a picture like that again, and something won't feel right. It's hard to explain, but it's really how it works. But yeah, just don't worry about it. It's not really confirmed a downtrend. All we've had at the moment is a micro downtrend and a break. And not only have we had a break, we've had 1, 2, 3 little... It's tried... We've had a break, and it's tried 1, 2, 3 times to go down, so it could go up. So, absolutely, you learn way more from your losses. Your wins, you go, oh, fantastic, and you'll move on and forget all about them. But your losses, because you're invested in them, whether it's financially or psychologically or whatever it is, you'll remember them. When you start to... See, I tend to not have to count so much now. I'll tend to go for a trade I like the look of. And you will, because every time you take these trades, especially losses, you'll have these little mental pictures logging in your brain. And next time you come to something that looks very similar, You know, we've all been to a village or a town before years ago and forgotten all about it, and you've driven through it again. And even though you went through once years ago, something's familiar. And that's exactly what it is. That's exactly how it works. But no, never worry about your losses. The only time to be frustrated about losing a trade is if you know you shouldn't have taken it and the patience got the better of you. I found out those are the ones that sent me on tilt. If I took a trade that I believed to be a good trade, I could deal with those. But if I know in my own mind, oh, God, I know I shouldn't have taken that, they're the ones that really piss me off. And those are the ones that generally send you on tilt. So wait patiently. See, I'll tell you who's improved a lot lately is Sam, 5 Trader. And if you notice on his stream, he takes a lot less trades and he wins a lot more. If you go back 2-3 months ago, Sam was taking half a dozen, 6 or 8 trades a day, and he was getting battered. Look at him now. He's taking 1 trade a day, maybe 2, and he's doing so much better. So eventually you'll do less and less and less until you're finally picking those good trades. And I know it's hard to do at the beginning because when you get into trading, you want to take trades because you want to try and win money. But it's the worst thing to do to want to take a trade. Sit here like a sniper and wait for that perfect shot and then take it, fully commit. If it loses, find out why and learn from it and move on. And that picture will log in your brain. And next time you come to that area again. So I used to beat myself up. I mean, when I say beat myself up, I've actually punched myself in the jaw once out of pure frustration. And it bruised as well. But only get frustrated about the ones where you know you shouldn't have taken. But try and avoid them, really. But wait for a trade that you believe is a good trade, and that's how you learn. And you really do learn, I promise you now. I'm a million miles away from where I started. I used to take dozens of trades. I was all over the place, but I'm much better now. I still have my moments where I take stupid trades, but you will do, but eventually they'll filter and filter and filter. Your chart reading has improved a lot. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. You do now intensify interest price to support resistant. Yeah, I'll tell you what else I've noticed I'm doing lately as well, but it's sometimes I get a bit too picky. I got a message from someone who was he said he'd been trading for about 10 years, and he said, I really love that you can sit there patiently, but I think sometimes you talk yourself out of trades. You try and nitpick, you know, instead of thinking where it's going. And something he said there stuck in my brain, and I'm thinking, actually, you're right. So when I first started to learn how to trade, I started trading with a trader who'd been trading for years, and a real trader. He'd been working the trading pits in London, and he said there's an anagram. What's the word I'm using? What's the word I'm looking for? I've just got a mental blank. Anyway, it's KISS, Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what he says. He used to say the most simple strategies are the best. And I'm thinking he's telling me that because it's a line. And I used to think the best traders in the world have the most complicated strategies. They've got indicators all over the screen. They're the best traders in the world. And you couldn't be further from the truth. And the good thing about Pats is it is a very simple strategy. It's not complicated. Learning the strategy is easy. Applying it to the correct context of the market, that is the skill. And that's that. Those words I had with that other trader the other night on Max. He was basically slagging Mac off, saying he's never proved himself. He's cherry-picked. Now, I know I go on about Mac sometimes, but that's more observations. You know, I absolutely owe everything to Mac as far as I'm concerned. He's a genuine guy who's taught me how to trade for next to nothing. He charges me that little, I feel like I'm ripping him off. And if you look on my website where I've put about or whatever, I put a little bit about him, saying that he gave me a brilliant opportunity for very little. But people think because they're not making money or they're not consistent that it's the strategy. And I tell you something now, it's never the strategy. You can sit here day in, day out and find your own strategy and it'll work. It's down to the trader. It's down to lack of patience, getting a bit too excited. The emotions get the better of you, and it does. But it's a slow learning process. like you say to me, my chart reading's improving. It's only improved because I've sat here day by day, and you learn. That's why it's not a quick money-making thing. It does take time. And that's why it's got such a high failure rate, because people give up because they think, sod, that's too hard. But it is. You know, anywhere where you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars and some a year is never going to be easy. You can't make that sort of money easily. But if you sit here day by day and trade as much as you can, you will get better. It's impossible for you to not. So, but yeah, use those losses. I thought that might have gone up then. Use those losses to your advantage. You know, think about what you did. Find out if you don't know why it went wrong. Most of the time now, I know why it went wrong, but I didn't used to. So I would say, if you're still quite newish, take a screenshot. If you don't know how to do it, just right-click on your screen, save screen chart image, and then post it on the Facebook group and ask for some. I did that for a year and a half. Ask for feedback, and if I didn't know what was why I lost the trade, I'd ask someone and they'd tell me, and I'd learn and move on. But that's how you got to do it. It does take dedication. It's not easy, but fortunately, I find it interesting, as well as kind of challenging. But if you want to just make money and you don't find this a bit interesting, you're going to find it hard, I think. I've always been the type of person, if I'm interested in something, I suck into it like a sponge. But if I'm not interested, but I have to do it, it goes in one ear and out the other. I can't seem to retain it in my mind. I would never guess is as hard as it is last. No, me neither. You know, I'm 55 now. I've done lots of jobs throughout my life, and I was a bricklayer for a bunch of years, and I thought that was difficult. So many little problems and things going wrong, but it's nothing compared to how hard this is. Now, when Mac used to describe it, it's like a lawyer or a doctor, and I'm thinking, how can it be? You sat in front of a screen, clicking a mouse. But the more you do it, the more respect you have for it, how difficult it is. But yeah, just keep coming here day by day. It does take time. I remember the first time I started, I told my wife I'd be earning 20 grand a month within a year. And then the second year, I told her within a year I'd be earning 20 grand a month. And then within the third year, I've told her the same thing. And I kind of realise now it's just going to take a little bit longer than I thought. But, you know, and again, until if I go against my mind and gut feeling, yeah. But you will. I don't get frustrated like I used to now, so I enjoy trading more. You know, I've kind of had a love-hate relationship. I love it, but it's like a sort of a... I wish that wouldn't do that. How do I stop that from doing that? That's disappeared now. It's kind of like a love-hate relationship, and it's kind of like a marriage. You know, some years they're great, and other years you're just thinking, what am I doing? You know, I've been telling my wife in 2 months I'll have a payout since February. Yeah, I think we all do that because it's very hard to think it's as hard as it is, because I'm thinking, well, I know what a second entry long is. There's one. It's not hard, but it's applying it at the right time and to the right context of the market, which is the real skill, and that's what takes the experience. Just like any real skill job, you can't learn overnight. You just keep getting better and better at it. So yeah, but I'm enjoying it. You will get to a stage where I think you enjoy it. Now, I still don't like taking a loss. I don't think anybody ever really does. But I kind of realise it's going to happen. And I have to. You have to become okay with it, I think. I read someone described it as being comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. And that's kind of like what it is, really. But you will get to the stage. You know, I go through I've been through all the stages where I've smashed one of my screens. I thumped one of my screens and threw it out the window a couple of years ago. And I swear now I've been in tears on 1/2 occasions when I've lost accounts. First time I lost 5 accounts, I went downstairs. I couldn't control myself. I was bawling my eyes out. My wife was hugging me, saying, "What's gone? What's happened?" But you know, because you do invest so much into it emotionally, it does have that effect on you. You know, you are emotionally connected to it like you are with a relationship to someone. It takes up so much of your life. Whether it's just me or whether it's just everybody, but you have to go through that journey. You know, you can't consider yourself a seasoned traveller if you've been to 2 countries. You know, but it's like anything, any skill, the more you do it, the better you get at it. I think the risk of pats is what makes losses hard. Yeah, I'll tell you something now, Daryl. Forget going for 1 point. I know Matt teaches 1 point, but he did actually finally say something I've been wanting him to say for years, is that if you're trading 1 or 2 contracts, you have to trade for more because you're just going to get crippled. So I would say to you personally, go for 2 points. You'll find it so much better, because the difference between 1 point and 2 point, you're talking about 100%. But you'll get most trades will work about 97% of the time. You'll get 2 points as one, so it's an absolute no-brainer. But I remember when I first started, I was scalping for a point, and I'd win 4 trades in a row, and I'd lose the 5th. And what with commissions, I'd end up in the red, and I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to make this work? Well, I understand the difference between trading 1 contract and 100. I don't quite understand the difference between trading 1 contract and 100. Well, it's risk, isn't it? Each point the market moves, if you're trading a contract, is $50. So if I go for 2 points on 1 contract, I make $100. If I go for 2 points on 2 contracts, I make $200. But as well as making more, you're risking more. So don't necessarily look upon it as a contract or 2 contracts. Just think more about the money. The contract it's a bit of technical garbage, really. That doesn't really mean anything. Wise, if 4 ticks don't work with 1 contract, it's not going to work for 100. No. More contracts doesn't make the trade more likely to work. Now, I'm not saying if you don't trade 2,000 contracts, your input into that market may encourage the market to go a certain way. Whether that'll happen, I don't know. But whether you're trading 1 contract or 50 contracts, it doesn't make a difference on the actual trade itself. 1 point target and my runners work very rarely. Yeah. My honest opinion now is I would never go for 1 point. Go for 2 points. My honest opinion is, I mean, that trade I took there, yeah, that went for, let's have a look, how much did that go for, that trade I took there? So that went for 4.25 points. You will find incredibly rare that trades don't go for at least 2 points. So you think about it, every time you take 2 points instead of a point, you're making 100% more profit. So if I just take, let's just take a couple of Marco's charts, just for instance. So where are they? Okay, so let's just take a couple of Marco's charts, just as a quick example, yeah. So that trade there went for more than 2 points. Okay, so that's one, yeah. So you've doubled your money there. Let's find his next one there. So that went for more than 2 points. That went for more than 2 points. Straight away, 3 trades. So instead of 150, you're up 300. Let's find his next one. That one went for 2 points. That went for 2 points. That went for 2 points. So that went for 2 points. Straight away, 1, 2, 3. There's another 4 trades. So you're up another 200. It's an absolute no-brainer. You're doubling your money every time. That went for 2. 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 There's another 5 trades where you've doubled your money. Let's find his next one. Don't, take my word for it. Same again. 2 points, 2 points, 2 points. In fact, all those went for massive amounts of points. That went for 2 points. So straight away, I've got about 10 times what I had before. I can afford to lose 3 in a row. Here's another one. That went for... Did that one go? Yeah, surely it did. That went for 2 points. Yes, it did. That went for 2. That went for 2. That went for 2. Straight away. And this is, you're doubling your money every time. Let's have one more. There's another one of his. So let's zoom in there. 2 points, 2 points, 2 points. In fact, these go for 10, 15, 20, whatever. But I'm telling you now, you've got to go for 2 points. In my opinion, you've got to go for 2 points. I'm actually going for 3 now. Scalp 6 ticks and happy with that. Yeah, it's a personal thing as well. You don't have to. Don't let anybody tell you what you have to do. This is just purely my opinion. My opinion. Thomas goes for 2 points and sometimes 10 ticks, depends. Scalp 6 and happy with that, but I didn't get the logic of only going for 1 or 2 contracts. Then maybe go for a bigger target. Yeah, the contracts don't make a difference with how far the market goes. Your contracts is how much you're risking. One contract is the equivalent to $50 per point movement in either direction. 2 contract is 100 points per movement. So the more contracts, the more you're risking and the more you're gaining. So just think about contracts as money. Just think about one contract as $50 for each point it moves. And that makes no difference at all to how far the trade moves. If you trade 1,000 point contracts or one contract, it doesn't make a difference whether the trade wins or not, or moves in either direction. It makes no difference.
Order submitted.
This is tempting. Let's channel down to 2 legs down. Try to go once, try to go twice. Let's have a look at this. It might be going a little bit sideways here. Let's see if this triggers. It has triggered. Actually, I'm not sure about this. I'm going to wait for the failure. We got a leg up. We haven't made a new high yet. So there's just something about this that's just making me a little bit nervous. It's probably going to work. I prefer the failure. It's a little bit congested here, which is making me a bit nervous. We haven't had a new high from this. We could kind of retest this top a little bit. We've tried there. We may just push above that. So it may work and it may not. But just this little bit of congestion here is just making me a little bit nervous. So that one's gone. That may hold. We'll see. But I'm glad I stayed out of that. It was very tempted. So you had that one which triggered and stopped. You had that one which triggered and stopped. So you got like a double trap there. I think it probably will go down, but I'm waiting for a failure really. Or a drop then a lower high. So a leg and a leg. If I get a bearish bar here, I may take that because that would trap that long, but we may not. I like the fact that it's now testing this line. So leg and a leg, leg and a leg. Yes, it's a bit hard to read this. It's doing this flipping curvy type thing again, which I don't really like. See, it's not really a channel that yet. It's only really touched it twice. So channel break, new low, leg and a leg. So
order cancel.
It's unusual. So we got a channel with a break, pushed up new highs. We actually had 2 legs back and 2 legs up and made another new high. So I'm thinking we may be pushing. And then we dropped sideways and couldn't get above this line. Then we dropped again, which is telling me it's more likely going to work down as a range. So just wondering whether that area is. I didn't expect that. I thought we were going to have 2 pushes and come bearish. But it looks like it's kind of working in that area. Yeah, I didn't expect that. But yeah, whenever, if you've not been doing it long, whenever you get losses, I know they can be frustrating, but I tell you something, that's how you learn, and it really does. It pays dividends when you sit here day by day. And as someone mentioned, it's really where you learn from your losses. You don't really learn much from your wins, but your losses have more of an effect on you, which is why you tend to remember them. You tend to, when bad things happen in your life, you've got a tendency to remember them. But have you not just thought back about your life? Sometimes you tend to remember the bad things a lot easier than the good things, which is a bit sad in a way, but it's kind of just how we work. But you will build up these little mental pictures. When you're staring at something, I'm staring at this, and I've looked at this before, and something just didn't seem right there to me. It's hard to put a picture. It's a little bit congested there. And not only that, we've had a little bit of a push up, so I'd expect to make a new high from that little channel. So if you took that, we had another new high, so it triggered you, and then pushed up, made the new high, and then decided to push up there. But I tend to go with what it looks like at the moment, although that is technically a second entry short. It's just something about it I don't like the look of, so that's the key, context. Just because it's a second entry short doesn't mean it's a good trade. Context is everything, and the way you learn about all that is just to sit here day after day. You took the higher low under the EMA for 4 points. I'm assuming you're on about that one, are you? Yeah. When that starts to push up, there's a fair chance it's going to have a bit of a move, because you're likely going to have short stops above there and there. And when that broke above there, it had a little spurt, came back, and had another push above there. So my only concern here going along there is the fact that we have 1, 2, 3, a triple test. Because at the moment, we're trying to test this line. In fact, I could probably even take this down a bit, where it touches a lot more stems. It's probably better, actually. We kind of push up once and it rejects. We push up again and it pulls back, and we push up a third time. You don't know whether it's going to trigger you, touch that line and come down. But the thing going for that trade, although it's quite big, is the fact that you're going to have stops here. So if I was going to take that one, I'd probably take that on the engulfing there, which would save me a few ticks. Because if you push above there, it's likely going to finish relatively bullish, I think. And then obviously you've got that one where there's bound to be some as well. I was thinking fell breakout. Yeah. Would I treat that as a fell breakout? Leg and leg. We pushed up once. Yeah, I suppose so. It came down there. I don't trade those as much, fell breakouts. I think because we've had a breakout, we've tried to push up and we've come down and push up again. But that's the thing about trading. It's unique to everyone. We all have the general idea, but if you've taken lots of those trades and had success with it, it will be a good trade for you. Like a lot of times I avoid fell breakouts, but I tell you who has a lot of success with them is Bart, because he takes a lot of them. So it really depends on whether you take a particular trade. You know, we all have our kind of favourites, and you sort of spend more time. But yeah, I mean, when that triggers below anything there and closes there, I think there's a fair chance that's going to get at least through this line, because you're going to have stops there and there for sure, and it's always good to hit stops. It just gives you that bit more momentum. So, are we getting 2 legs? Let's have a look. Last couple of days have been quite sideways. That one was quite bullish. This one was sideways. The daily is looking very bullish to me. In fact, we're not a million miles away from all-time highs. So I looked at the daily early hours of the morning. Let me have a look. Let's have a look on that daily. In fact, yeah, we're not far away. So, do you remember we looked at that a few days ago? We had that really bullish bar there. It went down there, broke below there. I mean, it's been really mega bullish, that is. I mean, look at that. Day after day after day, up and up and up. And then we had the break. All-time high. Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we had that. I'm really surprised we had such a strong move there without any real pullbacks, and then we went sideways. But we've just broken this level, I think, or we're on it now. Yeah, I think we have broken that level. Yes, so the next level is up here. So we've not got far to all-time highs. We'll certainly do it this week, if not today, the way that thing's going. So, where are we off it? Uh, 50 points, less than 50 points, 47.5 points. So, if we do have this other leg, that'll get us a chunk of the way. So, there's two schools of thought here. We've got that, which I actually like. Fits a couple of times there, fits nice there. So I think the chances of having another leg are good, I think. Let's do that there. Yeah, I like that. That's a correction. Really nice, obvious correction there. So I would say I would expect that to get to there, which is how many more points off where we are at the moment. It's not many. So I think that is likely. So channel break. I would like to come down and retest this before we push a bit higher. So yeah, I think that's likely. See, once we're getting above this, see, we're clearing out any possible liquidity there, so we may get a bit more of a push in a minute. We're right on there now. I think we've broken it. Yeah, we have slightly. So that's my thought at the moment. Well, that's a bigger picture anyway, which I think is likely. I like the fact that it's touched twice there and it fits pretty good there. So, well, it's funny now. Look, now that trade now all of a sudden looks really good. Do you know what I mean? That's the trouble, really. You can come back later and mark these and go, oh, yeah, that looked brilliant, or that looked brilliant. Because when you see what the market does after it, it kind of looks even better, doesn't it? So that looks impressive now. So channel, small break, 2 pushes up to a new high. So I think this bigger channel is a good possibility. Yeah. So We're not far away from all-time highs, so I think there's a good chance we break all-time highs today. So second entry long, yeah, be a bad option. So push up sideways. That's how channels work a lot of the time, and I don't think this is any different. Channel break, new high. 2 pushes to a new high. Back to that amen up again. It'd only have to be a second entry long for me. Yeah, I'll be surprised if we don't break those all-time highs today. It's only 50 points from where we are. Unfortunately, that's only really a first entry. Yeah, see, Thomas Wade's got this. Not sure about that. Channel break, 2 pushes to a new high. Straight back to the M8 and bounced again. Yeah, the NQ is looking the same for me. Got to push up there, a nice correction. I think that's likely. Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. Okay. High low there. Just can't take that though. That far from me. I'm glad that's doing that anyway. So push up, break, new high. One leg back, second leg back. Need to get down here really. And break, new high. So that channel up there is a possibility. It's not set in stone. But we push up there, 2 attempts to go lower. I think there's a good chance that'll continue up. Leg, 2 attempts back and leg. We're going to have to look for something down here. Could say 1, 2, 3 triple test. But what I will say is on this other chart, short stops up there, short stops up there. So 2 legs back. If we can get some buyers down here to push up, take those stops out, that'll give it momentum to push up more. Too risky, that one. Come back down here. We've got 1 leg back. This isn't a decent leg back, so I think that is more likely to get stopped out. That's my personal opinion. It's not really a setup anyway, that. Now, if it's strong, it'll push up anyway, but my guess is that that is more likely to get stopped out. There's no real setup anyway. So if that does get stopped out, which I think it will do, or might come a bit further down, we may then get a second entry long. So we got a leg up, 1 attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower. We need to get down here though, really, to make that interesting. I'll go with that. So it doesn't need to come down too far. If we can get below this bar, stop that out, that should give us a little bit of momentum to get down here. Okay, there is a failure there. Very tempting. It's just too far for me. I like what I'm seeing on the NQ. Looks like 2 legs back and a bullish bar. But that, for me, could fail. It's a little bit risky there. It is a second entry long, although I prefer it to come further down. I want it to stop out there because it could trigger you. Come down, take out stops from there, stops from there. So for me, it's just a bit risky. For me, that one has to get stopped out. For me to go long here, it's got to get down here. It looks like it's sucking in longs. There's some in there. Let's see if this one triggers. Yeah, that's triggered. Now this for me is likely to come down and take out 2 lots of longs. Could be wrong, might go up. If it's a strong market, it will. But that to me is easy pickings. It is a second entry long, so it may rock it up, but I'm not taking it. It's too far from that EMA, really. So you will have to push through it to get 2 points there. So you're a 1.75 there. It's got to push through. I still wouldn't take it. It's just too far from that EMA. I know it's come close, but intents and purposes, a million miles away, really. This body, for me, needs to sit on that line. If it does that, I'd maybe have a go at that. Two, three could be a triple test, so we may get a bit of decent pullback here. Yeah, that's going to take out them stops. I'm not too bad, mate. How are you? So you got up stops above that line, stops below there and there. I just don't like those. They look a little bit too weak for me. Good on you, mate. A little bit too weak for me, but if it's a strong market, sometimes it will just work. Leg and a leg. I think there's a good chance we get up here. Whether we clear any of this out first, I would have liked to think we will have done so. That should get us to a very similar place. Yeah. So a leg, and obviously this one is broken down into two. So I really want to see these taken out first. Let's see if it triggers this one first and then drops. Strong support at 57.30. Yeah. If it gets above this, it'll go a bit higher, but I have a feeling it may trigger that and come down, take out that, and that. There's three lots of longs in there. For me, whenever it's really struggling to do that and it goes up little bits at a time, it sucks in longs there and flushes, takes out 1, 2, 3 lots of longs. That should be safe, comes down here and then rockets up. That's what I think it will do. But there's also a lower high there. So it could come down, trap that and push up. So there's definitely some traders battling here, but my guess is it'll clear this area, and this area out before it continues higher. That's my gut feeling. When you sit and watch these every day, I tend to see that happen more times than not, especially when it's slowly working up, slow grinding. It often comes down, flushes. There'll be more longs down here waiting to get in. Getting in here is a bit risky because it can come down and flush down, whether it will or not. If it's a strong enough market, it will continue up. But it's slowly struggling to get higher, and the slower it goes up, the quicker it comes down. I know one guy on Thomas Wade is in this at the moment, and he's taken that one there. That's where his stop is, and his take profit was 1 tick above this line, so it's missed it by a tick, and this now is coming down. There's longs in there, and there'll be longs. So my guess is before that goes higher, it'll get below there. I think that'll stay safe. Usually the first initial push is usually the safest. So that stop's gone now. They're gone, and that one's gone as well. So he's just lost that trade. It's just too risky. It's too weak. Now, you'd have got a 1.5, but no more. If you went a tick above there for 2 points, it would have to push through to get 2 points. So I'm surprised it went that high. But now it's cleared out this. It's kind of fresh, and some buyers should come in now. Do you know what? There's a nice looking trade on this one here, I think. Let me have a look. That's a second entry long leg and a leg. It's not finished good enough though. This is my other ES chart. Now it's cleaned out a lot of this. I think then some buyers are gonna come in now to push it higher. It's just not good enough, that bar though. Which is a shame because I think it's going to push higher from now. I'd have preferred to come down to this line, but that looks like it's safe. It usually is when it's right down low. It just picks off anything here. That's a weak position. I mean, it literally triggered it by a tick, came straight down, took it out, and while it was there, got rid of anyone else in here. They're weak positions, these are. They've got to be sat on that line there and as low as possible to make it worth taking them. Being cautious early. Yeah, and it's just from experience, bud, because I don't know, I can't tell you how many times I've been in trades here thinking, oh, it's going up, I don't want to miss this move, and you jump in here and you jump in here in weaker positions, thinking, yeah, you're going to get a big move, and all of a sudden it drops down and takes you all out. I've been in it more times than I care to imagine. You do get used to it. So I prefer it to come down here, really. I wouldn't take that. I never like those bars that have matching lows. Yeah, it's always good to zoom out as well and just check you are thinking in the right direction, because we could have kind of a range with a breakout or a bigger range, and it may come right down here. So let's see how this works here. 2 legs down, little bullish bar there, right off there. I don't think that's a bad option to buy there. I've got a trade on this other one at the moment. It's looking okay. It's very tempting. It's 13 ticks. I'll have to wait for a higher low here.
Order cancelled.
So if I think this is going to go higher, really, it needs to keep in line with that. Trapped in some little bear bar there. So if I keep that tight, See, do you know the ironic thing is another thing I like to keep an eye on as well is the NQ is looking more rangy, doesn't it? So if the NQ comes down into the meat of this range here, this will come down as well. So I mean, I've got it like that, but there's always a possibility this thing could just come back down. It is two legs. It is kind of like a breakout of this. Thomas Wade said deleting the uptrend. I think he might be right. So if this lands nice and bullish, then I'd say it's going to go up. If it doesn't, yeah, I'm removing it as well. I think he's right. This may just range. It's looking range on it. It is useful to have the NQ because the NQ, if they look completely different and they're giving you different bits of information, I think you've got to pay attention that something might not be right. So sometimes I get this sort of biased in my head and I find it hard to lose it, and I'm focused and convinced we're going up. So I like to zoom out now and again and just check I'm still thinking. It's easy to lock your focus on something and forget to look around once in a while. And I've done that a bit, but I try and do it now, and it's all part of experience. I'm growing up and maturing a little bit at a time, making better decisions and being aware of things. Sometimes it's very easy to have tunnel vision, isn't it, and be convinced we're going up, and you're only waiting for longs, and you take a long and it stops you out, and you take another long and it stops you out, and then all of a sudden you zoom out and realise, hold on a minute, we're coming down. But I also want to be careful that this is not a breakout that's failing. It could still go higher. I think for me to assume it's definitely going to. So there's always a possibility of something like that. See, you see a range like that, you think fell breakout. Now that's the case if we're going up, but it may trap you along and come down. So I got to kind of remain open-minded here. Trouble is, looking at the daily there. Now, although I am convinced we're going up, a small pullback on a daily candle can be 30 points on this. Oh. Oh, this is frozen. Let's get rid of it. Volume's better today anyway, so at least there's more people rolled over. Okay. So, yeah, still nice and strong. Clearly well above that now. There's all-time highs. So we're not a million miles away. 737's about 40 points away. We're above this now, so it may push a bit higher. So I still think this thing could come higher. So I'm on the fence a bit now. So we got a touch, good enough, and a touch. So we still could go higher. That daily's telling me we're more likely to go higher. Take us up there. Tomorrow we have big news. Is that where we're likely to get rate cuts tomorrow, is it? Yeah, it will be interesting. Actually, it doesn't look as rangy as I initially thought. The difference is this price action here is higher than the one on the left on the ES, but these are more or less side by side, but we've got a touch. So if this pushes above this, then it's probably not looking as rangy as I thought. Yeah, do we get possible rate cuts tomorrow? What's they say? I think it is tomorrow, isn't it? Let's have a wee look. Yes. FOMC, economics projections, 7 p.m. tomorrow night. We've also got CPI. Oh no, tell a lie, that's UK. I don't tend to follow the UK stuff. So yeah, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. So that'll be interesting. In fact, I'll come back and watch that. I probably won't trade it, but I'll come back and watch it. Sometimes it can be fireworks, but if we do get a rate cut, which I believe we're going to, I think it's the 19th. Isn't it with FOMC? I don't know. I tend to just know what the news is day by day. I don't know. Does it come with FOMC? I'm not sure. Not sure. Sure, FOMC, doesn't it? Does FOMC tell us when we're going to have rate cuts? Karina, tomorrow, yeah. New York time, yeah. 7 o'clock UK time. We're 5 hours ahead. Yeah. So, yeah, that'll be interesting tomorrow. So, I certainly think the crypto investors are looking for a rate. Well, I think everyone's looking for a rate hike because when rate cut, when we didn't have one last month, everything dumped, didn't it? I think wasn't it the NQ and the ES were down 1.5% or something like that. Didn't NQ have the biggest drop in history last month when we didn't get rate cuts? I think crypto took a dump down, Bitcoin took a dump down to 49k. It's back up to about 58 now, I think. So I think if we get a rate cut, which I think we're going to, exactly what it's going to be, remains to be seen, but that should kickstart everything. If we don't hit all-time highs today, I think we certainly will tomorrow, and crypto will as well. Crypto's been stagnant now for months. So that breakout did fail, push back in. I just couldn't take it, unfortunately. I don't think many did. And now I can't see anyone on Thomas Wade. I wonder how high it will go until the elections. When's the elections? November, isn't it? November the 4th, isn't it? November the 4th. So it's quite a way away, yeah, isn't it? In fact, I think Christmas Eve is 11 weeks today. Unbelievable. It doesn't even feel like we've finished summer, really. We're already talking about Christmas. Well, I am. I'm the sad one, you know. You guys aren't. I don't know. I like Christmas. Christmas is nice if you got kids. Expensive, but nice. Yeah, but Max said a bunch of times, I don't understand it, or he said they won't let it drop that low because of the elections. I don't understand how it all works, to be fair. Thing is, as a retail trader, you kind of know the bare minimum, really, when it comes to finances. As in general, we know how to trade, that's about it. But I know little bits, but not enough. I'm aware of the news just for a point of avoiding it from a trading point of view. You do pick bits up, don't you, over the years, but actually, it's quite a nice day in the UK where I am today. It's about 19 degrees centigrade. I've been out, cut the lawns, last cut of the year, I think. We have had our heating on at night, so it is. We are starting to turn now. We're certainly well into autumn. So this daily chart, it's above all this now, so this thing looks like it's not. So I really don't think it'll be long before that's there. I'd certainly, usually when you do that, I'd be thinking straight away, I won't want to go long here because we're likely to get a pullback. But you may have thought the same thing there. But if you look, we've got very little in the way of pullbacks. There was a little bit there, but that was bullish day. Tiny bit there, that was a bullish day, and then all of a sudden we're right up here. So it's flooded in Moldova. I watched a video today. Is it really? Grief. I didn't watch it. I watched that Blood Diamond again last night. I didn't watch it. I usually catch up the news in the evening, but wife and daughter went to bed early last night, so we got the new 65-inch TV, so I stuck my earbuds on and watched Blood Diamond. Well, most of it. There's about 45 minutes left. Jennifer Connelly, she's beautiful in it. She's aged a bit, as we all do. Saw her in Top Gun, but she's beautiful in Blood Diamond. It is a good movie, yeah. I watched it a couple of times, I think, in the past, but sometimes you just have it. I was flicking through Netflix thinking about what I can watch. I did watch Maverick again the night before last. I've seen that about 3 times, I think. When you get a newer, bigger TV, you want to give it a road test, don't you? I do like Leonardo DiCaprio, actually. He's a good actor. Did you watch Requiem for a Dream? No, I haven't. Requiem for a Dream. Where's my phone? I'll write it down. Jennifer's fit. Oh, was it really? She's lovely. She is. I mean, in Blood Diamond, she's absolutely stunning. Requiem for a Dream. I'll have a go at that. That's quite an old film, wasn't she? In something like she was in something as a real youngster, 16 or 18, I think. Requiem for a Dream. Oh, cute. Yeah, I'll have a look at that. I mean, I think she was. I'll tell you what it was. She was in that film with David Bowie. What's that called? David Bowie film, wasn't she? That one with the strange monsters. Labyrinth, that's it. Yeah, she was young there. Yeah, she was in Labyrinth. David Bowie. I miss him, actually. What an amazing talent he was. Yeah, she's only young there. She must have been, what, 16, 17? Maybe younger, somewhere around about there. Some good music in there as well. Some of David Bowie's good stuff. Right, what is going on here? Is this a breakout pullback? Yeah, well, Tom Cruise is starting to show signs of age. I mean, to be honest with you, I watched a clip of that. You know, they show you sort of then and now, and he's aged pretty well actually. But Kelly McGillis hasn't aged as well. But he has. He's aged pretty good. Jennifer Connelly aged well as well. I mean, she's definitely looking older, but she's aged well. She's a real natural beauty. It's not a kid-friendly movie. Okay, all right then. My 15-year-old, well, 16-year-old now, should I say? She'd be in bed. She spends half her life on her Nintendo Switch at the moment. Yeah, I thought this was more rangy, but it's starting to look more like a sort of a wider channel, certainly 2 legs up. I'll be surprised if we don't make that 2 legs up. So it's just finding something. Trouble is, if this is a channel going along here around about that midline makes me nervous when it could come here. But we're also a distance from the top if it is that. Now, I suppose it could always be some form of a spike and channel. No, I don't like that. Forget I said it. Channel with a break. How you manage your emotions to stay in trade longer. I always seem to take my trade off when my analysis is right. How do you manage your emotions to stay in a trade? To be honest with you, I don't really stay in trades that long. I mean, I tend to go for 2 or 3 points. So it's usually a matter of maybe 10 or 15 seconds, 20, 30 seconds maybe. But I think it's just what you get. I remember talking about to Daniel about that when he was scalping a point. It was about a year and a half ago, and I said, why don't you move up to 6 ticks? And he went, I find it hard enough to sit there through a point. So I suppose it's what you're used to. But what I found is when I had my 20 accounts, I found trading very scary, and I wanted to just get out of a trade. And as soon as I was in a trade, I wanted to get out of it. But now I'm only trading 5. I don't really find it so scary anymore. I'm quite happy, kind of happy. I went long on that NA. So look, NA. What's the NA? What's NA, bud? You might have to tell me. Oh, sorry, NQ. Got you. What you said, NA. You went long. Yeah. Where'd you go long? Whereabouts? See, some people sit in trades for days, don't they? They just set it and forget it type thing. I think the longer you've been trading, the more you do it, the more you kind of just get used to it. It didn't scare me taking a trade around about, you went for 40 points, so around about 1538. So it's around about, so 38, so around about here, yeah, I'm guessing. Somewhere around about here. You went 40 points, yeah. So yeah, I mean, when you get in a trade, it is straight away. It's kind of like walking a tightrope, and all of a sudden the safety net disappears, isn't it? Do you know? I listened to a guy talking about the mistakes that newer traders make, and something that he used to make himself. And when he learned this, it took his trading to a new level. It's very true if you think about it. So when we get into a trade, especially as a newer trader, when we get into a trade and it starts to go against us, we don't get out of it. We let it go to our full stop, and in a lot of cases, give it an extra tick, an extra 2 or 3 ticks, or move your stop completely. So when you're in a bad trade, you give it way more space, and it crucifies you. And when you're in a good trade, as soon as it starts to move, you're getting your stop and you're dragging it to try and secure points. And a lot of times you'll say, okay, it's starting to move now, I'll drop it there. It'll have a little pullback and take you out and then push up 10 points. So it's just because of that nerves that, you know, when it goes against you, you're nervous and you want to give it more space. When it goes in the direction you want it to, you kind of want to get out and get a little bit, when really that's when you should be holding it when it starts to work. Because once a trade works, usually it goes for at least 3 points, sometimes a lot more, in some cases a lot more. See that trade there, for instance, that I took there went for 3 3/4 points. It actually came back and went for a bit more. But the trouble is, as soon as it starts to move, you're panicking, thinking, I don't want it to come back on me. So you jam your stop in there, it goes up, comes down, takes your stop out, pushes up another 4 points. So I think it's just getting to the stage. I think the best way to treat it is if you see a trade that you think is a good trade, get into it, set your stop, set your order, your profit, and just leave it. Take your hands off your mouse. It's easier said than done, but that's the best way to do it. Set how many points you want. But I'm trying to go for a little bit more. So, I'm trying to trade how I traded when I first started this 18 months ago. When it started to push, I kind of gave it a bit of space, and then kind of when it had that little spurt, which it often does when it takes out stops, I would take my profits then. But there's so many different ways to take profits. But yeah, it's not easy, but it does get better in time. I don't think there's no simple answer. It's just the more you expose yourself to the feelings, the emotions, the better they get. Look at this. So it's hard to know what the hell's going on here, really. Let me have a think here. No, I don't know. It's hard. It kind of goes up, sideways, drops, up, sideways, drops, up, and drops. So I'm guessing there'll be some stops there, maybe thinking we're going to push down here. And when it comes back, I'm guessing there's buyers taking profits up here. A lot of times it does push through this level. It does come back a little bit. But that's what I mean. A small pullback on the daily can mean 5, 10, 15, best part of 20 points. Trouble is, it just makes our chart look even messier. Maybe something like that. Let's see what happens from here. So it's looking positive. it's pushing up from there, so whether it is something like that or not, who knows? I don't know. Just for now, I'm going to get rid of it. But if it is a larger channel from there, it has bounced there, so we kind of had a little channel with a break. So I'm going to consider that as a channel with a break in a new low rather than a bigger channel, because I wouldn't want to go short here just at the moment, because we have sort of got a bullish feel to the day, haven't we? Yeah, so we went sideways and dropped out the bottom and pushed up. We're going sideways and we dropped out the bottom and pushed up. So my thought process, it is working higher. But am I confident in taking a short here or a long here? Not really. There is like a hidden second entry short there, but I'm not ready to go short just at the moment. Excuse me just a second. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be a minute. Yeah, it's quite a hard day to read today. It's quite a lot of chop and it's not. So we got a leg. Uh, 4.5 points, that one there. Yeah, I'm just not sure what the hell's going on at the moment. So channel down. Hidden second entry short. Yeah, I thought we may get one of those there. I was hoping we get one here. Bearish bar and then trigger and push up. Because I'm still kind of thinking more of a bullish day, but you just don't know. So there may be a lower high there, trapping that long. Channel break. Bit of an overshoot, so maybe a steeper. Would I want to go short there? Ooh, not really. Just getting a few mixed signals here. Channel down. I mean, if we are going to come down, you know, a lower high trapping along like that wouldn't ordinarily be a bad thing to take, but I'm not necessarily convinced we are coming down. In fact, it's hard to know where the hell we are going. I mean, my sort of thought process initially was up, but we go up, come down, go up, come down. So you're thinking up, but let's go from the top, see if we can line something up at the bottom somewhere. Yeah, possible. I don't know. I'm just at the moment, I'm not a massive fan. I don't think it's terrible. You have a range on your chart. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of skirting up, isn't it, for want of a better word? We started down here. We got a kind of a low. We sort of had a bit of an arc, got a low, had an arc, got a, so yeah. It's a bit mixed signals really at the moment. We got a leg. I mean, we could come down and have another leg, or it could push up. I'm not really sure. Yeah, so Thomas Wade's got this. His doesn't really. Yeah, he's not got his any real different, I think. So we got tops here. I mean, it could be something like that. I don't really know at the moment. It's a little bit random, isn't it? I won't want a lower high here. It may come down, but I'm not confident in taking that because it's bouncing around a bit. It goes up and then down and then back a bit, overshooting. It's a little bit all over the place at the moment, which is fine. It is sometimes. I used to beat myself up because I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then you listen to Mac, and he says the experienced traders, they're skilled traders when it's going sideways like this, are staying out. And if they're staying out, it means they don't know where it's going. So I think it's okay to... I won't worry about trying to figure out where it's going if it's chopping all over the place. I think most traders, the good ones anyway, are staying out of it. So that's what I tend to do. I don't beat myself up about not knowing what's going on. I just figure let's let it sort itself out. If you look at it, it looks like a 3-tier. Yeah, often it does that. Like that, when you get a range, it'll push up, go sideways, push up, go sideways, push up, go sideways, and then when you connect the dots, you know, it's kind of how it works a lot of the time. That. And we pushed up, went sideways. We had a bit of a correction, and then a strong push up to level 2. So I'm thinking level 3, which would sort of get us up here. I think it's quite possible that it will. It's not a terrible fit in, but it's not confident enough for me to think I want to take a long. We come up, we bounce, we come up, we bounce. I mean, if we get up here and then come back down to here for a third time in a row, then I'll start to think then maybe. But at the moment, I'm just going to sit tight. Just because it's going up gradually doesn't mean it's going to continue. So there is a lower high there, but I'm just not interested in taking a short here because I think the bias at the moment is slightly up. And there is a possible second entry long. It'll be trapping some shorts maybe. So there may be some liquidity here and here. So just at the moment, I'm not really sure what's going on, so I'm just sitting tight. Yeah, it's going a bit sideways now, so. It's all in the upper third. Yeah, so I've got it here. That one push, then we got sideways. Two push, then we got sideways. So, it's hard to say. And then if you look at the NQ, that's definitely looking more rangy, isn't it? In fact, that NQ actually looks kind of nice. So we got a break out here, two legs up, and we often get that. Where we break at the bottom, we break at the top. So we kind of two legs up, two legs down, two legs up. So we got one leg down. Are we going to come down again? Maybe. Good week for me. Already got a payout from free accounts. Good on you, mate. Just hit another target today. So brilliant. I listened to a couple of guys yesterday. Said they got very quick payouts. Quick approvals. Shallan Winter was one of them. Now I know he's I don't think he works for Apex. In fact, I'm pretty sure he doesn't, but he is kind of in there with them. I think he's big buddies with Chris Childers. But he had a little interview with Gates Adams, just general chit chat, I think, and he said he'd had a I don't know, did he say it was like an hour and a half from when he put it in, submitted it, to when it was approved, and a couple of others said they'd had quick approvals. So we are expecting some updates from Apex. So quick approvals is one of them. Not waiting until the certain a couple of times throughout the month that you can request a payment. I think you can do it whenever. So there are some changes that are about to come, hopefully. We keep hearing that they're not far away, so but quicker approvals we need. I've had people saying they've been waiting 2 weeks for approval. That's no good. How can you submit a payment in and trade for 2 weeks? You don't know whether you're going to come down and dip into it. It doesn't really make much sense, especially if you're a newer trader. When you get to that $2,600, I think it's important to get a payment. It doesn't matter if you're below the account. It's just to finally get a little bit of something back. But waiting 2 weeks is no good. So I believe they're going to sort of correct those things. So a chop here, a little bit congested and sideways, and rightly so. I don't know what's going on. So obviously no one's trading here, so I'm not the only one who doesn't know what's going on. I think that happened to Sam, did he? Yeah. So that's encouraging anyway. There is kind of like a second entry long here, but it's just congested. It's just too dangerous to take. Side by side. Okay, I've been going an hour and 40 minutes. I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. The market's not doing nothing at the moment. It's just going sideways, and I'm going to give it a few minutes to make its mind up. So I'm just going to put that on there, and I'm going to take a quick 3 to 5 minutes for a cup of tea, and I'll be back. Taylor got paid fast. He posted on Discord. Down Discord. He's an American. So he got paid directly into his US bank. Well, that's interesting to know. Because there's nothing worse, you know, when you put your order and you just want to get paid, don't you? Or at least it to be cleared and get out your account so you can continue to trade. That's interesting news anyway. Right, I'll be about 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, leg and a leg. Hmm. Took 3 months, but at least they paid. That's ridiculous, isn't it? There's no excuse for that, is there? The trouble is, trading's difficult enough as it is. It's a stressful business. And there's nothing more stressful than working your arse off, spending all this time learning, and I'll tell you something now. Apex, when they, if you're paying monthly for some of these things, they'll take their money on time without a doubt. But when it comes to paying you, they need to be on the ball, really. You know what I mean? They can't say, "Oh, we've got problems. You're gonna have to wait." You know, I've always said you should never mess a guy's wages or a woman's wages around. You know, you do your job. You're expected to do everything on time. Follow the rules. You do that. You should get your money on time. There's no excuses for it, really. How long you wait for payouts in the UK? Not long at all, bud. As soon as it's been approved, it's pretty quick. I have mine going into, you'll obviously have a Plain account, and then Plain put it directly into my Revolut account. And what's going on here? Big drop down, yeah. It goes into my Revolut account. This could have a big, strong drop now. And then I just convert it from dollars into British pounds, commissions free. That's one of the beauties of having a Revolut. Commission free exchange at current market price, so you don't lose anything. So, leg down, 2 legs up. Are we coming down for a big move? This is starting to look more and more like a range now. I wonder if that's anything to do with the impending news tomorrow. I wonder if traders are just sitting on their hands and waiting, which is why it might be going up 2 legs, down 2 legs. I'm okay, Chris. How are you, my friend? How you doing, buddy? First time. Take long to send the Plain link. Not a problem waiting. That may they improve now. Yeah, hopefully they are, because I think initially it went directly into my bank. I think initially the first ever payment I had, and then we had to sign up to. Who was it? It was the other account we had to sign up to. There was another one before Plain. I can't remember what it was. There was someone else before Plain, and then some rules and regulations. So it changed overnight. So we had to then go back to. We had to move on to Plain then, but Plain works Wise. That was it. Yeah. So when it went into Wise, they paid it in dollars. So if they'd have put it into my bank would have charged me 3%, which for $2,000 was about £60, which I thought was ridiculous. So I looked into it, and if I opened a Revolut account and paid for the what they call the steel account, where you got a metal card, I think it was about £9.99 a month, but you got unlimited amounts of currency exchange. So I did that, and after a while I ended up changing it to Plain, and Plain transfer it into the UK. Into UK pounds. I think it cost about $2, something silly like that. It's very small, so it's negligible, really. So, yeah. But once you get your first payment, I think things take a bit of time. But the good thing is, with all these prop firms now coming up with instant payments, Apex have got a, you know, the goalposts have been moved, so Apex have got to sort things out. Well, the good thing about Revolut is, I think if you have the basic account, which doesn't cost you, I think you can have up to, I think it's $1,000 a month, which you can convert to any currency, commissions free at current market. I think it's $1,000 a month, but only Monday to Friday. If you do it the weekends, they charge you. You have the metal one, yeah. As long as you do it from Monday to Friday, you can. I think it's got unlimited currency exchange. So if it goes in mine tends to go in pounds now. It used to go in dollars, but they convert it for me, Plain do, and they don't charge anything, which is good. But with Wise, they did. It went in dollars, but that's it. That's a good thing about. There's a lot of them now. We've got a Monzo account, me and my wife. We've got a sort of Monzo joint account. And a lot of them now you can currency exchange. So, years ago, you went on holiday, you go down to sort of one of these places in your local town or city, your bank or currency exchange, you pay stupid commissions, and they give you your foreign currency. And then when you came back, if you transferred it back, they charge you stupid commissions again. Well, now there's no need to pay anything. A lot of the times, if I'm going to say, let's say I'm going to Europe, I can say I can transfer £1,000 of my money into euros, pay for it on my Revolut card, and whatever I've got left, transfer it back, and it's all commissions free at current market rates. So you just miss out the middleman. This is interesting. Leg down, big bearish bar. I think there's a good chance this is going to come down at least for another leg, but that bar's massive and it is a bit congested. But the picture I'm seeing at the moment, I think it's likely to do this, but that's just my gut feeling. But it's 19 ticks, so we got a leg down, kind of 2 attempts, 1, 2, 3 attempts, but it is a bit congested, so it may not work, but my gut says it's more likely to do that. I had to do a conversion from euros to USD for a house purchase. Why said me about $3,000? Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? These companies make a fortune out. They're not stupid. Years ago, I mean, we're talking donkeys years ago, especially in the UK, with a job, you got a house, free rent of a house. You got looked after and taken care of now. But, you come to realise pretty quick that life's about people just taking things from you all the time. You get paid, we pay income tax. If I buy petrol or food, I pay VAT and income tax. If I have savings, I pay income tax. If I get money handed down from my parents, inheritance tax that's already been taxed, I get taxed again. It's crazy. It's take, isn't it? And everyone's the same, really. It doesn't matter what you do. People are always willing to charge you. Before we had Sky TV, we just had the normal channels. Over in the UK, we had 4 channels. We're going back sort of 25 years ago. We just had 4 channels. And that's all we paid for. We paid for our TV license. Now you got Sky, you got Netflix, you got the Disney Channel, you got Prime, you got mobile phones, you got Sims for tablets and watches. It's just constantly pay. That's all you seem to be doing nowadays, is just paying out. There's so many more things to buy now than you used to have to buy. It's crackers, really. You won't end up having a lot left. Leg down. So, when I was young, I was about 6, probably sort of late 70s area. My stepdad was in the army. He was a corporal in the army, and my mum didn't work, and we could afford to buy a house, a 3-bedroom semi-detached house with a garage, and just on one wage. Now, a corporal in the British Army now will probably on somewhere around about 40,000. You wouldn't even be able to buy half a house for that much. It's ridiculous. Everything's so much more expensive than it used to be. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, a house price in the UK are just horrendous. And it's getting harder for the new generation. They just can't afford to buy. The average 3-bedroom house in the UK is about £350,000. What do you normally borrow? 3 times your salary? So between you and your wife, you need to be bringing in at least £100,000 a year. Who brings that in? It's £50,000 each. It's not realistic. Crazy. So are we going to get 2 points off this? I think it's likely. But it was 19 ticks, so I wasn't going to take it. It is a little bit congested, but my gut says it was going to work. So if you went a tick below there, there's your 2 points. I think there's a good chance of a leg and a leg. Whether there is something like this or not, that's a little bit of a, call it an educated guess, but it kind of works nice there and there and there and there and there, so We're on to 800k. It's ridiculous. You know, when I went down, I go down to Winchester. So if anybody doesn't know, Winchester used to be the capital city of the UK. I mean, we're talking centuries ago. And we went down about 15 years ago. And I remember looking in a window, and a 3-bedroom house, Tudor kind of looking houses, not big at all, say 3 to 4 bedroom house, semi-detached with a garage, was about £750,000. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I know in the US, you guys, your houses, I mean, you have a lot of timber frame houses over there, whereas in the UK, most of it's brick, and the trouble is with brick, it's very time consuming, so it costs money, whereas, you know, carpenters can knock up these timber frame buildings, you know, really quickly. And you guys have a lot more space as well. Everything's smaller over here. Apart from penises, we've got the biggest one. But no, everything's bigger in the US. Your meals are bigger, your pizzas are bigger, your houses are bigger. Apart from penises, obviously. That's opinion. But yeah, we live in bloody shoeboxes over here. So, what part of Spain are you from, Karina? Spain's a big place, isn't it? I do like Spain, actually. Yeah, one thing about that trade, see how we got a second entry long there that's triggered, it's come down and stopped it out, but then pushed back up, so it's getting, originally from Edinburgh, and house price are crazy, yeah, my parents bought the house, 69 grand, now it's crack, isn't it? I know, it's crazy. Do you know, I've never been to Edinburgh. Well, tell a lie, I drove from where I live in Shropshire up to, I think it was it? I don't know. I drove up somewhere and then drove up to Edinburgh just to pick something up in a day. But my cousin lives up that way. But it is on our list of places to visit. It is supposed to be beautiful, Edinburgh. But yeah, it's a lovely part of the world, that is. Are you from Argentina? You've been now in Spain. Excellent. But I was in the UK, Preston, Manchester. I used to live near Preston. A little village called Wheaton, which I think is about 6 miles outside Preston, because you're not far from Blackpool at Preston, are you? Which is sort of a coastal resort. Not the nicest one, but it's a nice part of the world, that. From Argentina. I got you. So you gave the world corned beef. And Maradona, still definitely. I mean, I've heard professional footballers saying they still can't believe what he was able to do with a football. Unbelievable. In fact, I remember the hand of God where Argentina beat England. I think it was about 1986, I think. I was about 15, I think. The hand of God. Yeah, I mean, he was a talent, an absolute, a rare talent, Maradona was. Shame he's no longer with us. And then corned beef, of course, which we love in the UK. Spain's nice, so I'm a massive paella fan. It's one of my favourite dishes. I do cook it probably once a week. We've got the big sort of 19-inch paella pan. And I know that in Spain they put green beans, or runner beans as we call them in here. I'd never put them in before, but I started putting them in recently, and they're absolutely beautiful. And a paella, lovely. So I think that's likely going to break that 2-point level. So leg down with a push-up, big bearish bar, trapping some longs. Also there as well. So I'll be confident that make 2 points. I wouldn't get in it though because it's just a little bit choppy. Is it going up? Is it going down? But so I'm sure that'll make 2 points. It's definitely a messy day today. So I'm just going to put a line down there where I thought that 2 point was going to go, and we'll get rid of this because it's just in the way a bit. Mind you, if you look on that NQ, we are finding support down there. We've had a breakout here, and we had 2 legs up and a matching breakout at the top. And then we've got 2 legs down, so we are coming down to support here. So yeah, just push through that. So you would have got 2 points off that. It was 19 ticks, that one. So it was just absolute madness. So I'll see what the S's really are today. So leg, we haven't got 2 legs, but it looks like we may have 2 legs back. Okay, this is interesting. 2 legs back and a bullish bar off the bottom. Now, leg and a leg, that's interesting. So this is below this now, so I envisage a reasonable push down now. Mind you, as long as you have that bullish bar on that NQ, it may not. So we got a leg down, 2 legs up, 2 legs down. Not an easy day today, definitely not. Volume's a little bit low, a lot of chop there, a lot of chop here. Shop. It just may be like this till tomorrow evening now, till we get the, well, tomorrow evening UK time, till we get this FOMC news come out. It's quite likely going to go sideways. I thought we may have that big push up to hit that new all-time highs. We still may do. We still may do. So I think there's a good chance we get down here. And the trouble is, if we do that, it means this NQ is likely to do the same, which means that trade there is risky. Oh, yeah. So this is bouncing off the NQ, which is interesting. So if this goes up, and it may well, so we've bounced here. We've bounced here multiple times. Once, twice, three times. This is the fourth time. So I think there's a good chance this is going to push up. There is a possibility of, well, let's say there's a possibility of maybe some support, some resistance there. But I still think it'll go up at least to there. Not a lot you can do here, really, is there? It's going to be one of those days today. Yeah, the weather's awful here. We have our moments, but they're not that often. A lot of people say they like our weather. We have kind of a nice balance. So sometimes when you get hot summer and then you get a nice cold winter, I kind of like the seasons. I do. You know, I mean, we didn't have a brilliant summer this year, but sometimes when you've had a really hot summer, it's nice to get those cooler nights. And then, you know, sometimes in the winter when we've had a lot of snow and you walk out early in the morning and it's dark and the snow's lighting everything up, you get that crunch under your feet. So, yeah, a lot of people think we have a kind of a nice balance, but it would be nice to get a little bit more consistency in the weather, should we say. Have a look on the daily. I know what we're looking at now. Yeah, it's still bullish overall, but this obviously is a little bit of a pullback. Well, it's a small pullback on the daily. But obviously on the year it's a little bit more significant, isn't it? So, yeah, well, kind of knocking on 20 points somewhere around about there. slow and boring now. We may get this up to FOMC tomorrow. It's definitely working down. It'd be nice to get 2 legs up. So, hmm. God, it's gone so boring now, isn't it, when it's doing this? It's like watching paint dry. So this is interesting. So on the NQ, we got this little leg up with a break, 2 legs back, and a possible second entry long. Now, I'm not taking this because of this. There is a possibility. See, the ES is looking bearish. So, but it'd be interesting to see what happens here, whether this pushes up or not. Sideways, choppy. Not the easiest day today. Yeah, it's definitely ranging, isn't it? It looked for a minute like it was pushing up, but now it seems to be starting to come down. Trouble is, So you just can't trade this. There's nothing here really. We're not at the EMA. We've not got any sort of definitive. It's sideways and down a fraction, but it's just boring, isn't it? In fact, I may knock up near early talk time. Is it? How long have we been going for? Nearly 2.5 hours. I tend to do 3 hours maximum, but today I might finish early today. In fact, yeah, I'm going to. It's just a tough day today, so at least I'm at about 300 odd on the one account, which I took earlier, that one there, which worked. There's going to be some liquidity up there anyway, so. But look, it's just one of them days today. Lots of chop, very hard to read today. You know, 1 minute looks like it's going up, next minute it's coming down, then it's slipping down slightly, slowly, and then sideways. And but there's been a lot of traps today, so you can catch you out a bit today. So it's just one of those days. We haven't got FOMC, hopefully rate cuts tomorrow. 7 o'clock UK time, I'll be done and dusted for them, but I will pop back and have a look. Just out of curiosity, I like to look to see what happens. So there you go. If you're carrying on trading, good luck. You've got to be careful today. Lots of sideways. It's very easy. It's a good exercise in patience today. If you can sit there for a few hours and not take a trade, that's worth a pat on the back. It is part of it, isn't it? Trading. Sometimes you get days like this and there's nothing you can do. You can't fight the market. You just got to wait for it to offer you a trade and then take it. And then the rest of the time, you're just going to sit there. So if you do carry on trading, best of luck. I hope you finally get out of this business here and move in a direction. But failing that, I'll be back tomorrow, which is Wednesday. We're over halfway through September already. Unbelievable. So best of luck if you're trading. If you're carrying on trading, failing that, I'll be back tomorrow. So have a great evening. Stay safe. We'll talk again tomorrow. Bye for now.